Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. We are here today to talk about a secret layer leak. I come before you clad in multiple variations of green, which will wreak havoc with my green screen, to talk to you about the new Godzilla secret layer. What a weird scenario to be in. So let's get this up on the screen. We'll take a look at it overall and then individually each card that comes in it, and we'll have an end discussion where we talk about, is this a real product? Is this leak genuine? So for those of you who are wondering where the secret layer came from, this information comes by way of the Commander Guru on Instagram. That is where this was found. Shout out to Paul Goddard for being the one to tweet me the information about this, because I doubt I would have seen it tucked away in the corner. And I do rely on you guys to let me know what's going on in the streets with the beats so that I can keep up, just like Dr. Dre or Dr. Dry if you're buying one of those bootleg versions. So clearly you can see on the screen, we have what is supposedly the Godzilla secret layer. Now, this is a leak and it's only been reported from one location, so bear in mind, take it with a grain of salt. What's the concept here? This is supposed to be, according to the source, this is supposed to be a secret layer that retails for $29.99, so this is your $30. This is as cheap as secret layers get. And this is for 5 Godzilla lands. And honestly, I have to say, it is fairly cheeky of Wizards to put out a fetch land secret layer with 5 land cards that is currently going on the market for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and then follow it up with a secret layer that has 5 land cards for $30. I mean, could you rub it in any harder? Bear in mind, though, that this may not have been the absolute next secret layer they were going to release, right? We were looking at a scenario where when they put out the secret layer fetch lands, they told us we are going to be getting a whole batch of other secret layers, right? So this may not be the next secret layer that is announced, because Wizards has a whole batch of anywhere, I'm imagining, up to 7 based on what's happened in the past. They haven't really confirmed that for us, because at this point, secret layer production is shut down because, I mean, well, obviously you guys know why it's shut down. So when we take a look at these individually, what we can see, we'll start by taking a look at I assume this is the planes. They don't have mana symbols on the cards, which in a way is pretty dope. It's nice to get a full-on piece of artwork. So clearly the concept behind this is it's Godzilla, right? Now, but it's Godzilla not represented in like a cityscape. That's the kind of stuff they did with the Godzilla tie-ins for the Ikoria actual like boosters, the collector's boosters and that stuff. And I have to admit that first of all, I'm not a Godzilla fan. I don't care about Godzilla. I'm essentially indifferent. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh God, Godzilla sucks. Godzilla seems fine. I mean, I love big creatures and magic and big smashy nonsense. So from that perspective, Godzilla could be something I can enjoy, but at the same time, I prefer more Middle-earth style high fantasy as opposed to science fiction, which is more what Godzilla falls into, right? It's like a science fiction sort of, like, as far as I understand, he's some kind of radioactive behemoth that lives out in the ocean or something like that. I don't know. Godzilla is a cool concept, but just doesn't fall into my normal wheelhouse of things that I enjoy. So in this Plains artwork, we can see Godzilla with Mothra. Don't get excited. Don't think that when we look at other creatures on other cards that I'm going to know who they are. I only know Mothra because I always thought it was hilarious that Godzilla's a gigantic, like, destructive lizard who hangs out with, like, buddies with a moth or something? And aren't there little people who live inside of a clamshell or something that talk to Godzilla? Or, I don't know. The whole thing kind of just trips me out in terms of what's going on with this. But either way, we have what looks to be the Plains artwork with I'm saying that because all the lands are flat, right? I don't think this is going to turn out to be the forest artwork. I'm imagining they're going to make it very distinct. Now, when it comes to Plains, that's exactly what they are, just flat, kind of lowland, whatever. So Godzilla stands out massively here, right? You got Godzilla in the background there. You got Mothra flying up in the front. Mothra has these big, cute eyes. I could see why you would want to keep him as a pet, but look at his little stubby legs. Anyways, that's the plains artwork with Godzilla chilling with Mothra. So I assume those are allies going together. Now, the island, actually, this artwork's really cool. I really dig this. I guess the idea behind this would be that this is Godzilla, like, returning to like where he dwells under the sea or under the ocean. You guys can let me know in the comments. I don't know anything about Godzilla, but apparently now being a Magic channel means that I need to know things about Godzilla and other random offshoots. I'll admit, when you remove the cityscapes behind Godzilla, it's way easier to enjoy this. Like, way easier to enjoy this. Because this is just a gigantic beastie set against the setting sun and, like, going back into the depths. So it's kind of cool. It's like everything is, like, the day is coming to an end. Godzilla's rampage is coming to an end. He's going back under the water. I don't actually know if Godzilla's the villain or the good guy, or does it change in movies? Like, from humans' perspective, isn't Godzilla always the bad guy because he's destroying cities? Or is he the good guy because sometimes there's other things destroying cities and he fights them? I don't know. Either way, I dig this artwork. You've got the little, like, stony outcrops that are going along. You've got Godzilla returning down under the sea. I guess that's what's going on. Or is this supposed to be him emerging? Because it also does look like there are high waves around him. So is this him just kind of like, instead of it being a sunset, is this actually like maybe the sun rising where Godzilla is rearing back up out of the water going, "Rah!" Like, the Godzilla roar is pretty iconic, I will say that. So I guess it could be him like rearing up against the setting sun, as in like your hopes are setting like the sun and Godzilla is rearing up. I mean, the scale of Godzilla is awesome, and I like the way that this like island is kind of a chain of little islets, and then there are also tiny little craggly bits of rock sticking up. It looks like it would be a very dangerous place to try and sail any ships. Overall, like, dude, honestly, these artworks are so much better for me without any kind of like human cities built in the background that are modern. I don't really like modernity, modern stuff in Magic the Gathering. It's one of the issues I had with the Kaladesh block, where it's like, I don't want anything that feels too mundane and real world to me in my fantasy games. So the next land we're going to look at, this appears to be, to me, the swamp, right? Like, it seems highly likely that this is a swampland environment. It's got that kind of marshy, boggy feel. Oh, look at that! It's got Godzilla footprints. That's cool. He's so big that his like massive footprints create these depressions in the swamplands that are then filled in by swampy water. All right. And in the background of the swamp, you can see Godzilla is like leaned forward. I guess he's going into battle mode. I guess, unlike Mothra, whatever he's fighting against here is not his friend. Now, I have absolutely no idea what the thing he's fighting is supposed to be. It's got these big, crazy red eyes, but it looks like it's made up of a bunch of, like, I don't know, like hemp bags, like potato sacks. It looks like it's made out of a bunch of, like, hemp potato sacks just kind of layered onto each other. Is he a monster made out of clay, or is he in the swamp because he's some sort of, like, swamp denizen? Is there any connection here? Like, genuinely, somebody in the comments, let me know. What is that? What is Godzilla facing off against? I have literally no concept if these guys are friends and they're just hanging out and Godzilla's just leaning in like, listen, man, I had a wild party last night. Or if Godzilla's getting ready to take this thing on. But if it is, like, look at it. Like, that thing looks like it dwarfs Godzilla. What is it? Honestly, the fact that they've set these into more traditional feeling Magic lands is allowing me to appreciate this a little more. I may end up watching a Godzilla movie. So, the next land we're going to talk about is the Green Land. And this is like there's no dispute over which one this is. This is very clearly the forest. And so far, I've been bang on with the lands. The ones that I've said they are is what they are. So in this one, Godzilla actually feels really small, doesn't he? Like, when you look at the trees and everything that are the little branches and things that are going everywhere, it really makes Godzilla feel diminutive. He doesn't feel like the gigantic king of monsters, or I don't know what Godzilla's official title is. But it doesn't make it feel like he's huge. There's no, the sense of perspective is, I don't know, man. I don't know where, like, from the perspective of the artwork, this appears like we're kind of out in the forest and we can see the silhouette of Godzilla, but it makes him feel much smaller for sure. I do like the artwork overall, and I'm sure for people who are Godzilla fans, it's really neat to see Godzilla portrayed in these sort of settings. And the final land is the mountain, and this one portrays Godzilla facing down. I'm going to guess I feel like Rodan is a name from Godzilla. I think that I've heard that. Is this Rodan? Was that weird sack monster Rodan, or is Rodan something else, or is it something close to Rodan? I'm going to say that this is Rodan. And this has this like classic face-off sort of symmetry to it, where on one side you have Godzilla roaring out his defiance, and on the other side you have what is, I guess, the equivalent of a dragon. Is he an oversized drake? Is he a dragon? And it is roaring back, man. Oh, honestly, very cool. And set against these wintry mountains. They're just off. They've climbed up some titanic mountains, and they're going to have their massive monster face-off. Not too shabby, right? So there's a couple of things to note about this. I mean, I took a look at it trying to figure out, is this real? Right down to the point where I even looked at the side of the Secret Lair box where it says the Godzilla lands. And my brain was like, I don't know, would they just call it the Godzilla lands? They did Eldraine Wonderland. But I mean, at the same time, just calling it the Godzilla lands is pretty straightforward. I mean, the typesetting looks proper, and the numbering and formatting of the cards, everything about these cards looks normal. There's no, when we looked at the previous Godzilla stuff that came with those weird new borders that Wizards had never done, they felt like they weren't real. But everything about this feels real to me, including the fact that it looks like it's printed specifically in Japanese. This may be a secret layer that is designed only for Japan, and you can buy it if you want to in North America, but it seems like they're marketing it specifically towards Japan. Bear in mind that there are 3 of the Godzilla cards that they've made that are Japanese only and don't appear in English. So they've shown that they're going to give preference to Japanese individuals when it comes to Godzilla, which makes sense because if I'm not mistaken, Godzilla is very big in Japan, right? I mean, that's where Godzilla originates from, right? That's the concept. Doesn't Godzilla like live in the waters off of Japan? Wasn't the IP created in Japan and it's like a big cultural sort of touchstone thing over there? I could be wrong because again, I'm not like really that into Godzilla, but to me overall, this seems like most likely a genuine product. Now, I bet people who have seen me talk about the other Godzilla cards are going to go, especially when you clicked on the video, you probably expected me to be ranting about how I hate these. But there's a huge difference between these and the previous Godzilla cards. And it's not just the fact that there are no city settings or anything. It really comes down to the intent and design of particular products. The Godzilla cards that were inserted into Ikoria feel like they're being inserted almost in a way into Magic the Gathering. But when it comes to these side products, we have already seen My Little Pony, Transformers, Dungeons and Dragons, all these different games get cards. Now, most of those were in silver bordered, but the point is they were created in these side products that weren't like official mainstream products. The fact that you can get these Godzillas in a regular draft box of Magic the Gathering, to me, it feels off, and I'm not a big fan of it. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but I'm not a big fan of it. When it comes to Secret Lairs, the intent behind Secret Lair is something different. The concept behind Secret Lair was originally put forth as a place to experiment and play with new artists, new art styles, new concepts. So from that perspective, the Secret Lair going into Godzilla territory feels the same difference to me as the Oh My God Kitties, where they did the really, really cutesy cat art that doesn't feel like it fits in Magic at all. Same that goes with the Goblin set that they did that has like almost like a Team Fortressy kind of feel to the artwork. And then when you look at things like the Serum Visions, where they had 4 different artistic interpretations of it, and one of them was actually done in an 8-bit video game style. So when it comes to the Secret Lairs, I actually relish Wizards' opportunity to expand out, be experimental, make things that don't fit inside of regular Magic, because I don't want to see all this stuff showing up in regular Magic. I genuinely don't. I prefer Magic to remain high fantasy, Lord of the Rings style-esque, right? Anything that doesn't fall under that umbrella doesn't really feel like Magic the Gathering to me. I do understand that's a personal taste, but I think that there's certain things that make a product what they are, and too much moving into other things dilutes Magic the Gathering from what it is into something that it isn't, and I just don't appreciate that. But as a secret lair, I can 100% get behind this. It's interesting to see that they decided to do another basic land secret lair, because they did one for the snow-covered lands with Eldraine, and that seems to be a highly passed over product. I would be really curious to learn how well this product sells, what kind of demand there's going to be for it, because I could see this just appealing to people who really like Godzilla. I have seen on the previous video that I did talking about the Godzilla cards, whether they were real or fake, I had seen people leaving comments going, I don't know anything about Magic, how do I get this? So I could see this selling just as a Godzilla collector's item. And that makes this in some ways a smart move, because the Eldraine Wonderland was banking on people wanting Snowlands, and Snowlands had just been reprinted in Modern Horizons. This adds a whole new layer of demand in, and theoretically brings new people into Magic the Gathering, and I am all for having more owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. So I'm not against that in the slightest. Now, do I think this secret lair is real? I'm inclined to lean towards yes now. Before, if I had been shown the secret lair in the wild, before we had the Godzilla tie-in for Ikoria, I would say, this is fake, this is fake, this is fake, this is fake, right? I would 100% be on the fake side. But we're in a new realm of Magic. They have done they put Godzilla prominently in the trailer. They put Godzilla prominently in the Magic cards with 18 different cards. That's pretty crazy. Godzilla skins have come to Arena. I feel like there's some kind of marketing blitz going on where there's going to be some sort of Godzilla products coming out from Hasbro, or maybe there's an upcoming Godzilla movie that this is a tie-in towards. But either way, it almost feels like when McDonald's or Burger King would do the, come on in and buy some food, we'll give your kids an Avengers bucket, they can put it on their head, pretend they're Iron Man. You know, like it feels like some kind of marketing whatever, but because it's secret lair, and because it's like crazy art styles and whatever, and this Godzilla thing is out there, and I feel like secret lairs in some ways should be out there. That's fun. Make them stand out, make them something special. So for me, I think this is most likely real, and I'm totally fine with this as a product. It doesn't trigger me the same way that the buy a box promo being Godzilla actually, and you having no ability to get a non-Godzilla version of that card, that bothers me. I don't like that. I would like it if Zolortha was a real card so that I could have that ability. The ability only exists on that one Godzilla card. But anyhow, I'll be here ranting about that for a while if I let myself continue down that road. So instead, it's time for you to tell me what you think, all right? First of all, who is the lump sack monster? Who is the lump sack monster? Let me know that. Let me know if you think this product is real, and is this something you would buy? That's one of the things I'm most curious about, is how many people are interested in buying a secret lair with a completely different IPT tie-in, specifically Godzilla. So let me know in the comments below. Thanks very much, my friends, for coming by. Big shout out to all my patrons and channel members. Thank you very much for supporting my channel. I appreciate you all. And for everyone, I say thanks for coming by. I will see you lovely people very soon.